You know who hasn't been practicing social distancing this weekend? The fucking Easter Bunny. Why is no one talking about this?
Somewhere on the scene. It got a little longer, so it seems. I bring out, so to speak. Now come a little closer.
It's probably enough. Welcome to chapter 149 of Memoirs of a Milky Male. Hope you guys are well. That song just puts me in such a groovy mood. It is such a pick-me-up that sometimes I have to tone it down. First thing, I'm fucking way up here, and in order to entertain you guys correctly, I just have to dial it back a little and go, hey, Luke, we're doing a podcast here. Chill out. But that's good vibes to start off with. It's positivity, and that's what we all want. Hope you guys are all well. Hope you're dealing with isolation good. We're at episode 149, which means next episode, it's a milestone. We're going to raise the bat, okay? It's no 100. It's not a big milestone. I would say it's going to be one of the smallest milestones ever on the show, 150, which means we'll probably just do something small. You know, it's no episode 200. It's no 250 because that's a quarter of the way to 1,000. And then after that, we'll probably just stop celebrating milestones till we get to the big 500. And then after that, probably just goes to not even 750, 1,000. And then I'll be probably dead because let's be honest, I'm 24 now. I'm probably going to die soon regardless. I think I get a new wrinkle on my forehead every day at this rate. Fuck, I know I've been talking about getting old recently, but I did a bad thing again. I just did an old thing. I did an old band thing, and I caught myself right in the midst of it, but I was too far gone, and I was like, no, I'm passionate about this. I will continue. One of my mates was like, oh, man, I fucking love this TikTok song, and he sent me Simple Plan's song, I'm Just a Kid. Because there's like this trend on TikTok where you set up and you recreate like a past photo of yourself, and it's like, here I go, I'm just a kid, and then he was like, man, this TikTok song's so good, and I was just like, it's not a TikTok song, it's fucking Simple Plan. And then I caught myself in that moment, and I was like, oh my god, that's when you know that you're a bitter old fucking loser, when you catch yourself just openly defending Simple Plan. I don't care about Simple Plan. That shouldn't have bothered me, man. Some things just rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, hey, you watch yourself. That is not a TikTok song. That is a average song from 2005 or thereabouts. Okay? Be careful. And hope you guys are going well with the whole social distancing thing. Most people seem to be playing along, playing by the rules. It's good to see. I'm playing along. I'm out there giving people the fucking stink eye if they walk close to me. I'm like, Do you ever do that to people in public now? You walk close to someone and you just give them the eyebrows, like, a bit close, you know? And they go, and they give you the eyebrows, where it's like eyebrows down. They go, ooh. And then they give you the sorry eyebrows, which is up. They go, oh, sorry. And they often go. The amount of silent conversations I'm having with complete strangers now in public, I'm just like, oh, back off. And they're like, we don't even need to speak. It's just like, have you got it? No, have you? You look at people in the street now and you're like, everyone's so fucking paranoid. I'm running past people out in the World Gym, like probably, let's be honest, they probably can't see me, but I'm like the Flash when he runs. But, you know, so like they just see this blur, but they look at me and they go, oh, has he got it? And I'm just looking at them. I'm like, have you got it? And chances are none of us have it. But that's the game at the moment, isn't it? It's Russian roulette, but it's like 1 in a million, you know, or 7 in a million. I forget what we're up to now. But you know who hasn't been practicing social distancing this weekend? The fucking Easter Bunny. Why is no one talking about this? I thought it would be front page of the Herald Sun. I even thought The Age would print that shit. No one, not even BuzzFeed, for fuck's sake. This is real news, people. The government clearly said, stay home this Easter, don't see your family. And we all went, You know what, Scott Morrison? You make a great point. We will do that to the best of our ability. And apparently, there's one fucking arrogant bunny that's above the law now. I woke up on Sunday morning, looked on my Instagram feed, parents, people just going, oh, some of my friends from high school going, oh, the Easter Bunny's come. Oh, here we go. Even in quarantine, the Easter Bunny's coming. For fuck's sake. It's like you want to get it. You let this strange bunny in your house. Already, the Easter Bunny coming into your house is pretty fucked up. People wonder why our country is getting more obese every year. It's because once a year we let a strange bunny into our house that pretty much litters type 2 diabetes under the couch and in crevices. And then we make the little fucking fatties run and get it. And people are wondering why we have a crisis in this country. God damn. And so already you're thinking, hey, maybe don't let a strange bunny in your house. I lock my doors on Easter Saturday. I'm not an idiot. Okay, I'm like, I don't want this bunny snooping around my lounge room. This is a corona-free house. We don't need to add a little COVID-19 up in this bish. Unbelievable. And I just think, am I the only one who noticed this? And I don't want to hear any arguments, by the way, on this. I am 100% correct. I want to hear a unanimous agreement below. Okay? Is that the right way to say it? Probably not. I want to, whatever. Okay? Some people are going to be like, but Luke, animals can't get COVID-19. No, they can't. Well, not yet, but they don't know that. But they think they can't get it, but they can spread it. All you need is the bloody Easter Bunny to touch one little infected something, just anything that's got the bloody thing on it, and boom, then he fucking scampers into your house and goes, boop, boop, leaves a bunch of bloody corona eggs all around the lounge room. All of a sudden, give it 2 weeks, that curve is not going to flatten. Numbers are going to just be peaking. And everyone's going to make 1,000,001 excuses. Oh, we need to bring in tighter laws. No. Just don't fucking welcome a strange bunny into your house that thinks he's above the law. Unbelievable. You know what? I never thought I'd be doing this, but hey, Easter Bunny, if you're watching. That's not hot chocolate. That is butt soup, and he can suck it because very irresponsible behavior over the weekend. Now, if you had have told me when I was young, hey, Luke, one day you're going to tell the Easter Bunny on a public forum to suck your asshole, I would have been like, no, that's a hate crime. But it's crazy times we live in. So, you know what? You can go back to seconds. Drink it up. That's what you deserve. Yeah? You've given us coronas. Now you've got gastro, bitch. Got that bunny hard. I used to be a massive fan of the Easter Bunny, and now I don't think I can condone that behavior. And this is a warning to Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, if you're listening. Probably best to start getting in line for Centrelink as well, because I do not think you'll be working this year. The Tooth Fairy, absolutely not. Firstly, very bad business model. There's no way you can be flipping children's teeth for more than a gold coin on the black market or wherever the fuck she sells them. Where does she get her funding? I don't understand that business model. You're a child, you lose your tooth, you leave it under your pillow or in a glass beside your bed, and then all of a sudden you wake up, oh, there's $1 there. And I'm just thinking the whole time, like, this chick does not know business. Just fucking take an economics class. It doesn't make sense. And Santa Claus, I don't want to be the burden of bad news, guys, but Christmas might be cancelled this year. I was thinking about this during the week, and I'm as annoyed about it as you are. And this is what I've come to terms with. Christmas is going to be cancelled in the worst way possible, in the sense that we will still celebrate Christmas, of course, but only the bad things that we can't control. All the good things about Christmas will be gone. Turkey, family, friends, fun, joy. They'll be fucking, not allowed to do that. But reruns of Christmas with the Cranks on 9 Gem, they'll be still going ahead for sure. The fucking Grinch movie, The Polar Express. This might be a controversial opinion. I think I've expressed it before in this podcast. The Polar Express is not only the worst Christmas film, one of my least favorite films of all time. The animation in that film scares me, and the only good thing you can take away from it is animated Tom Hanks. You know what? And now he has the fucking virus. So that's just going to remind me of death again. Wow. I got really dark. Yeah, I think Christmas might be cancelled. So, Santa, I know where you live, dude. We all do. Maybe don't just take this as a warning. Don't do what the Easter Bunny did. It's not worth it. I don't need your corona-infested mitts flying down my chimney on Christmas morning. Damn. It's going to be a bad year. No Easter. Well, I mean, we had the Easter Bunny, which is insane. But, I couldn't believe it. And you'd think kids would know better to touch those fucking eggs in the morning. You'd think the parents would, for God's sake. And, also, I don't want to hear, the Easter Bunny's not real. Yeah. Cool, man. How do you explain all those Easter eggs that got put in my house every year and scattered outside strategically in the same position that my dad just helped me find because he was better at that than me? Almost like he knew where he hid the eggs. How would you explain that? Huh? Idiots. Oh, the tooth fairy's not real. Yeah, right. Who gives you that dollar? Parents weren't made of money. Man. Such a bummer when you see people online going, Santa Claus isn't real. You're like, what a fool. Man, you think your parents are good parents? Fuck no, it's Santa, dude. They don't give a shit about you. You got fuck all from your parents. Parents are fucking terrible people. It's Santa Claus. But yeah, I reckon even Santa's just gonna have to take a break this year from Westfields, shopping malls. Take a year off, dude. You know what? He deserves it. Really. He's been working fucking hard, and you're gonna be probably down in the Centrelink line one day. Rudolph's going to be next to you. You're like, oh, how's it going, man? He's like, well, hey, mate, these carrots don't buy themselves. And you're thinking, fuck, even it's just affecting everyone, isn't it? Like, I can't sit here and complain. Sure, I've lost my whole career. The thing I love to do, stand-up comedy. I miss it so much. I really do. It fucking sucks. But, at least I feel bad for Rudolph. He only has, I wonder what those reindeers do for the rest of the year. Must be pretty cruisy, to be honest. You know what? Actually, I have no sympathy. They literally work for like one night a year. Would be a hectic night. Probably need a bit of a month's rest. But anyway, guys, the point is the Easter Bunny, very irresponsible. And Santa Claus, watch yourself. That's all I'm saying. And also, if you did get visited by the Easter Bunny this year, I don't know, sterilize your fucking insides because you are going to be in a world of hurt in 2 weeks. What do I want to talk about this week? I want to talk about the fact that the Easter Bunny was a fucking dog. I mean, he's a bunny, but whatever. He's a fucking bunny dog. The podcast, a bit of a slick new look now, if you've seen that. Definitely popping on the feed. If you're an audio listener, you would have noticed already we changed the cover photo. Very sleek look. I'm kind of looking up quite candidly in the photo. It's a picture of me now instead of a drawing, which is cool. And it's pretty much suits the vibe of this podcast. It's heavily photoshopped. It's one of the widest photos I've ever seen of myself. I'm not photoshopped. It's just the background is obviously not blue. Was taken in a studio. But yeah, I'm just candidly looking up in the photo, just for all the video people, staring at the, just at the world. And I think it really sums up the fact that what this podcast is, which is just a white boy doing white things and giving it a fucking go. And that's what it's all about. But yeah, really cool new art done by a guy named Zach, who is very talented. He did my On the Run poster this year, the tour that I never did, and he did the Luke and Lewis Hit the Road one as well. He's does really, really good graphic design, so massive shout out to Zach. And what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Before we move on, the highlights channel. If you are a casual listener of this show or you just want to go and rewatch some moments or show them to your friends, would love it if you went and subscribed to the Memoirs of a White Guy highlights channel. I've got a guy named Reese who is absolutely killing it, and you'll notice that if you go on that channel, we've been smashing out videos, like 4 or 5 clips every week from the podcast of our favorite moments and all the best stuff. So definitely go subscribe over on that. We're working pretty hard on it, and it really is good exposure for the podcast. And since we've been doing that, the views have gone up. So you might be new here, and thank you very much. So and also that is funded by the people on Patreon. It's pretty much where like a lot of the Patreon money goes into this podcast and obviously my content online. So, thanks to all the new people who've got onto Patreon as well after that last drunk episode of The Bachelor. I'll be uploading the drunk podcast with Meg and I very soon. I just need to finish editing the actual Bachelor stuff first. So, I have a few things to talk about. Dude, I had a really weird, a strange interaction with one of my old high school teachers when I was out in the well gym the other day. So I was just down at the park running along, had my headphones in, and then I hear one of the worst things you can possibly hear when you do my profession. I just hear in the distance, but still loud enough so I can hear it even with Fall Out Boy blaring in my ears. I just hear, hey, it's the funny man. There he is. And I just go, fuck. All right. We're doing this. Cool. Now, I don't know if anyone else relates to this, but... Hang on, I don't know if anyone else relates to this, but recently out in the World Gym, as I was talking about last week, the look, sign-ups have bloody skyrocketed. It is absolutely peaking right now, which means I see a lot more people that I know out there, which is great. And it's good getting that, some socially distanced interactions. Sometimes you just see people from around, whether it's high school, whatever. And that's great. But sometimes you see people that you would never usually speak to. And I turned around and it was one of my old high school teachers, my year 9 science teacher, who, look, I wouldn't say that it would be unfair to say that he was solely responsible for me failing year 9 science, but I would say he wasn't responsible at all. Actually, it was 99% me, and then maybe 1% he gave up because he saw how thoroughly uninterested I was in the subject. But he was on a ride with his kids, and by the way, he's an awesome dude. He's a real nice guy, and we had a great interaction right up until the end. We're catching up. Where are you teaching now? Oh, cool. Yeah, mate, I've seen some of your videos on Facebook. Look like it's all going great. I'm like, yep. Boom. We had the back and forth. We did it. We got there. And then he did the polite thing of like, all right, mate, I won't keep you long. And I was like, no worries. Great to see ya. I went to run off, put my headphones back in. Boom. I'm back on Fall Out Boy. Sugar, we're going down swinging. With the bullet. Right? And then I just hear one more yell. And it was a great interaction up to this point. It could have ended there, and it wouldn't have been a story. It just would have been another positive event in my almost perfect life that I live as a straight white male. Yet, right as I was running off, about 3 seconds later, after we'd both turned around and started going our separate ways, he just turned around and went, "You were never that funny, you weren't that funny at high school." And I went, "What?" And he goes, "I didn't think you were that funny." And I went, "Oh." And I just went, "Oh, I guess I never was. Maybe I'm still not." And I laughed. I was like, haha. And he went, "Yeah." And then he just left. That's how we fucking ended it. It ended with me joking, going, "Maybe I'm still not funny." To which he would politely go, "Nah, mate, you've improved," or whatever, or just go, "Nah," and turn around. He just went, "Haha, yeah." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And then I just turned around and I was like, oh, fuck. I need to lift my game. I'm not hitting that teacher market anymore. Which that's a bummer, you know? I feel like, to be fair to him, I was never that funny in high school, but to imply that I haven't improved was pretty rude. I like to think that even if I'm not funny all the time, I like to think that objectively, due to followers online and people turning up to my comedy shows, that there's some merit towards my comedy act at this point. But you know what? You can't please everyone, and that's what keeps you going. You know, that's the hustle. Fuck. It cut me deep. It really did. I made a really shit joke the other day, actually, to Meg's parents. We were dropping around the dogs in their backyard, and don't worry, we weren't breaking any laws. We were just dropping the dogs around, having a very socially distanced conversation with each other. And for some reason, Meg's mum was talking about Meg's Meg's an auntie. So Meg's nephew and nieces. Right, I'm an idiot. And they're really young kids, and she's like, oh, you know, everyone's going, it seems like the kids are going really well, and really proud of Kirsten, who's Meg's sister. You know, she seems like she's really going well with the kids. And I thought it would just be funny. I don't know why. It was just an error of judgment. I thought it would be funny to make some crappy joke where I went, oh, well, Meg's got a kid of her own at home, implying that I'm a child and that she looks after me well. But I think the tone that I said it in, it implied that Meg was pregnant. But I didn't realize that that's how it was taken at all for way too long. So I went, yeah, you know, I said that, you know, so Meg's mum was like, you know, she's going well with the kids. And I was like, oh, well, Meg's got her own kid at home. And everyone in the room, Meg's mum and dad and Meg, all just looked at me and went, oh. And I was like, well, because, look, granted, it's not a good joke, but in my head, I still think, okay, well, guys, fuck, it wasn't that bad of a joke. And then Meg's mum goes, because she thinks I've just announced to the family in the weirdest way ever that Meg's pregnant. And I'm just like, what? And then I went, oh, I see the confusion. And I go, it was a bad joke. And then her mum goes, it was a very bad joke. And then I don't think I really ever explained what I was intending to do. I think I just left it there. And now everyone just thinks I made a fucked up pregnancy joke. And I just went back to what I was doing, and I just got up my phone and pretended I was texting. And that's how I left it. So now everyone thinks, in her family, just thinks I'm incredibly inappropriate at comedy. Which I guess is not a stretch, but I really, at that time, wasn't going for a fuck joke. I was just going for an innocent kind of, I don't know, that's kind of why I don't do small talk, because I always manage to fuck it up. Even when I try and be normal, even when I try and make those shitty jokes that people do in conversation, I still manage to fuck it up. So that's why I stick to the high tier shit, you know? Like telling the Easter Bunny to suck my asshole. That's kind of where my comedy, I don't know, peaks. That's where that's the kind of space that I feel most comfortable in comedically, is bestiality, asshole sucking. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, it's time to move on, and it is time for the second ever segment, or I guess rendition of this segment on the podcast. It is time for Luke's thoughts. Now, if you didn't hear the first one, you might be thinking, Luke, isn't the whole podcast just your thoughts? You'd be correct, but this is more Luke's fleeting thoughts. It's a segment where if I have a thought during the week, I just whip out my phone, and then I say the thought, and it's kind of like my fleeting thoughts from the moment. The thoughts that come to me and then leave me immediately, and then they never make it to the podcast. So I thought, that's unfair. These thoughts need to be heard. I'm a white boy with the podcast. All right, so people need to hear what I'm thinking every hour, every minute of every day. So enjoy the second segment of Luke's thoughts.
Luke's thoughts. Oh yeah. Woohoo!
I was thinking that Kevin from the Jonas Brothers is pretty lucky to be in the band. Like, I feel like Nick and Joe would have just started a band like as a duo, and they're probably talking about it, being like, dude, we are pretty good looking, I feel like we could be successful. And then Kevin would have walked in and been like, so what are you guys talking about? Oh, we're just nothing. Oh, you guys are going to start a band? Fuck, now we have to make Kevin in the band. You know, it's nothing against Kevin. I think good on him. He's the drummer, but he's just no Nick and Joe. You know what I mean? You know you're ugly when on the TV show they tried to make you the funny one. And then you're not even the funny one, like it's totally Nick. Anyway, just a thought. It's been another big week, so here's another big thought. So it's Easter Sunday today. Meg's cooking up some bacon. Just did hot cross buns. Controversial opinion. I prefer the bottom of the hot cross bun. Just the bum bit, as opposed to the top with the cross on it.
I like the cross.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a controversial opinion.
Oh.
Yeah.
You knew, you cheeky little monkey.
Alright, Luke's thoughts. Sorry, Meg had another thought.
Look what I got.
That's not a thought, that's show and tell. Meg got a Kinder Surprise egg.
Meg show and tell.
Can you do a separate segment this week called Meg Show and Tell?
Yeah.
Great. Next week. Knock knock, who's there? Luke. Luke who? Luke's thoughts. So I'm watching James Corden's Carpool Karaoke with BTS, that Korean boy band. This is how ignorant I am. I didn't know that they spoke English. I was shocked when I saw a BTS. I was like, oh man, James Corden must have learnt Korean, or there's going to be subtitles, and yeah, they speak fluent English, and I'm pretty fucking ignorant. I've never heard any of their songs before, so I'm assuming they probably sing in English as well. I just know that this band exists because of all the people on Twitter, like all their fans. I've never actually listened to the band. They seem like nice guys, so good on them. I'm just never ever gonna fucking listen to their music. And their music's probably good. I just would literally rather do anything else than to give them a chance. You know? Who you gonna call? Luke's thoughts. Woohoo! Just another update. I kept watching the video a little bit more, and turns out they actually don't all speak English. Only a couple of them speak it well. And so it turns out I was fucking spot on. So disregard the first thing. I'm not ignorant. It was a good assumption. And this is why you should make assumptions about other people. Because sometimes you might be correct. Or kind of. Oh, would you look at the time? It's time for another thought. Another update. I'm almost halfway through the video. And guys, I think I'm a BTS fan now. I've been converted. Alright? I went from ignorant to not interested to now, well, maybe. You know, maybe I see the appeal. You know? Bunch of cuties. I get why people are, what are they called? Stans. Man, I've been busy. What you been busy doing, Luke? Just thinking. So today at the supermarket, I saw quite an older looking, balding, overweight gentleman wearing a t-shirt that said, "Trust me, I'm a Jedi." I'll be honest, I've never had so little faith in anyone in my life. And I then proceeded to watch this man walk into a sensor door, just bang it on the way through, which is impressive because even non-Jedis can open those sensor doors without touching it. But this man just plowed straight into it. So if you see this person, do not trust him. He is not a Jedi. He's just shops at Kmart. That's it. Wow, and there we have it. Yet another week of some of the most highbrow and intellectual thinking you've probably heard. And people say this podcast is not educational. I had a couple of people say, my teachers told me I couldn't listen to this while I study. And I disagree. I teach life. You know, I may not teach basic arithmetic or even English, but I do teach you that maybe... I forgot, I'll be honest, I forgot all those things that I just said in thoughts. That's why they're called Luke's Fleeting Thoughts. I think there was one about BTS, the Korean boy band, but I forget what I said about it. The point is, there's a lot to learn from that, and yeah, if your teachers, I would say that to your teachers. Say, yeah, but did you know this? And then just say something that I've said on the podcast, and they'll look at you going, no, I did not know that, and go, ha, and then leave straight away before they ask you any more questions. So yeah, this should be rated E for educational, and also E for, or HE for highly entertaining. Now, this week, actually in the last couple of weeks, I've undertaken what started as a hindrance, turned into a feud, and is honestly now an all-out war between myself and the weeds growing through my mulch in the backyard. It's a fucking battleground out there, and no team is surrendering. That's for sure. It is. I've turned up the heat this week. I brought in to show you. Now, I want to thank, obviously, listener Adrian. He is my ally in this situation. He's been backing me up since day one. Shot me an email of a strategic 5-step plan on how to rid of any weeds in my backyard. And thanks to Adrian, listener of the show, you'll be proud of me, mate. I have bloody gone and bought exactly what you wanted me to buy from Bunnings. I've got the Garden Pressure Sprayer, 5 litres. So I'm just going to fucking rain poison down on this bitch. And I've also bought the Weed Killer 360 concentrate. It makes up to 200 litres. It's like fucking cordial, but for weeds and death. So I'm excited. I'm going to fucking rain pain upon these leaves. They're not even going to know what's hit it. I'm going to be out there with the bloody pump, just pumping away. Not uncommon for me, am I right? That was a joke about sex. That was another bad joke. Fuck. I think not doing stand-up's making me definitely worse at comedy. That was the only thing keeping me in check. Now I'm just throwing shit out there now. I'm throwing shit at the wall, and I just know it's being poorly received. But yeah, I did have a pretty stern message for the weeds this week. So, and also I'm looking at them. They're growing under my fucking fence now. They are literally just any opportunity, any crevice, any crack, there's a bit of pavement in our backyard, and they're even growing through that now. Actually, before I deliver this message, I need to open my window so they can hear me. Look at, there's one right now just staring at me, coming underneath the fence. What the fuck are you looking at, huh? The neighbors probably think I'm yelling at them. Not them, just the weeds in the backyard. All right, and before we begin, I'm just going to make this look like an official press conference as well, just so the weeds know not to fuck with me. Put these here as trophies of war. Alrighty, listen up. To the weeds in my backyard, I come before you today with an important message. Just like Jackson O'Doherty's career in 2017, I will do my best to end you. But unfortunately for the world, I will most likely fail. I will lay waste to your above surface growth, rip the roots out from underneath you, and make you regret ever growing through my mulch. This is not a warning. It is a declaration of war. I'm coming for you, and I will be relentless, okay? You can guarantee that. You may think you have the upper hand in this conflict because I'm just one bored, lonely man talking to the weeds in his backyard. You are correct about that, but I am not alone in this fight. I have allies in my local Bunnings warehouse who supplied this equipment here. It's not sponsored, it's just a fact. And listener Adrian, aka the Poison Master, as he shall henceforth be known. Even though I'm out here in the trenches by myself, I know I have the support of the listeners at home during this war. This podcast community, against all odds, managed to locate a fat pigeon named Peter out of 60,000 girthy pigeons which inhabit Melbourne CBD. We have also started a global fitness revolution in the World Gym. Therefore, royally fucking a few weeds up in my backyard should be a piece of piss. Literally, I'll probably urinate all over those weeds at some point. I'm going to start at night, just going out there. Psst, cop that, huh? Weeds, you have 24 hours to kill yourselves. Otherwise, I will go full Liam Neeson on your ass. I will find you, and I will kill you. Let the battle begin. Oh, fuck, wrong sound effect. not as majestic when you try and do a cool war horn at the end, and then you just get you just get reminded of the Easter Bunny sucking my asshole. That's it, man. The war fucking begins this week. The Great Weed War has begun, and I'll keep you updated, and it'd be real good of you guys if I could have your support through this, and I want you to keep me on my toes. I'll keep you updated. If you think there's a lack of updates, okay, keep me on my toes. Message me going, Luke, what's happening in the weed war? I need to be motivated. Sorry, I had a burp. Oh, it was a bit of a gurgle, actually. It was a esophagus gurgle that kind of came up and then turned into a burp. I guess that's what a burp is. The point is, I need you to guys keep me on task. Go, Luke, any updates, you know? How's the weed war going? Like, don't message my personal, maybe just message the podcast one. But, you know, I'll be, if you want to keep updated on the weed war, I'll be posting about it on the Memoirs of a White Guy Instagram. And boy, oh boy, I'm going to play dirty. I tell you what, here's my plan. Actually, I'm going to close the window now because I wouldn't want the weeds to hear my strategy. That would be dumb as fuck. All right, the window's closed now. It's just between us. Here's my plan, okay? And it's Adrian's plan. He sent me a plan of how to get rid of the weeds. I'm not fucking around. I went to Bunnings. I bought this. Cost me $10. All right. I bought this. Also cost me $10. This pump. And then I bought a $4 rake. So I spent upwards of $24.95, I believe, on this equipment. So don't pretend like I'm just fucking around doing this for content, okay? I'm out here balling with my, it was the cheapest pump, but whatever, okay? I'm going to rake away all the mulch, expose the weeds for who they are, because they're cowardly, man. What kind of fucking dog hides under mulch? That's what really irks me about the weeds in my backyard, is that it's just fight like a man, you know? That's what trees do. They're out there, and even if they're, you know, a shit tree, they're like, here I am, above the surface, cut me down. Weeds are just like, oh, boop, here we are. And then you pull out the weed and you're like, oh my God, there's a whole fucking community under here of weeds. They're all under there just probably whispering about me, going, oh, we're just going to grow in his backyard because he's renting and he has no other choice. Not for long. These weeds I'm going to show these weeds what's up. Enough talking, more action. That's it. Mark my words, next week, I will have significantly less weeds in my backyard than I do now. I'm going to rake it all away. Then I'm going to pull out as many weeds as I can with my raw hands. I'm going to snap their fucking little necks. I'm like, I'm going to put it on my Instagram story, show it to the world. If you thought ISIS beheading videos were fucked up, follow Memoirs of a White Guy on Instagram. I will do a fucking weed beheading video. This week, I will upload me just fucking going to town on those fucking infidel weeds. Fuck, this took a turn. But you know what? That's war, guys. It's not going to be pretty. So yeah, follow the weed war on Instagram. I will do my best. I will not give up on this one, and I will make these weeds my bitch. Then I'm just gonna pump them. Again, look, I'm not going to say what happened, but similar to another big world war, I'm going to absolutely fucking do some cleansing, that's for sure. And I'm just going to pump the shit out of those weeds with poison. And if that results in 6 million weeds dying, then so be it. All right? People will fucking remember, those weeds will remember the day forever that they tried to grow through my mulch. Not today. Not in this household, thank you very much. I'm a dad now, all right? I'm an old fucking man. I defended Simple Plan during the week. You think I'm not going to defend my back garden from your gross growth? Ugh, I hate weeds. All right, moving on. Sorry, I got a little bit passionate there about the weeding. That's when you know something fucking irks you. That's when you know something grinds your gears. When you threaten to behead it publicly on your Instagram. I think that's when isolation's been getting to me. What else I want to talk about? Oh, we could talk about this briefly. Two more things. We need to do the ultimate pump up song competition. And before we talk about that, I need to address this. Last week on the podcast, I think I briefly mentioned, I was talking about the fact that I don't find myself very relatable. Like, I don't think that my interests are necessarily similar to most people's, just with like a lot of pop culture stuff. Like, I've never seen an episode of The Simpsons. Now, really mixed responses throughout the week. Some people, surprisingly, were like, dude, same, me too. Actually, heaps of people messaged me. It was probably the most relatable I've ever been, actually, by trying to not be relatable. And then I also said I don't drink coffee. And I should have been more specific in, not that I don't drink it. Like, some people go, I don't drink coffee, but they've had a coffee before. I've never had a full coffee. Like, I've had a sip. I don't like it. I don't even like tiramisu. I just if you have a coffee bean, I will not consume it. Okay? Wouldn't shelve it, wouldn't pop it in my mouth, wouldn't shove it up my nose. I just don't like the smell, the vibe. Get it out of here. Also, don't like nuts. That's just completely unrelated, but I just don't like nuts. I like smooth peanut butter, though. So that's kind of where I draw the line there, if you were wondering. The point is, I was trying to be unrelatable. I said I don't drink coffee and I've never watched The Simpsons. And some people it made some people really angry. This is what I find funny about that is like, so it made some people so angry that this guy tweeted me accusing me of lying. Like, he just could not fathom that I've never seen an episode of The Simpsons. And that was fascinating to me. Like, how it could not, I said it and he just wasn't letting into his brain. He was like, no, he's fucking lying. There's no way. So it was the guy named Tim. He tweeted me, it's a while ago now. How the fuck have you not watched a single episode of The Simpsons? And then in all caps, I call bullshit. Hey, Tim, my parents didn't raise me on television, okay? I went outside when I was a kid, dude. We used to have cubby houses. We used to ride bikes. I wasn't parented by TV at 6 p.m. on Channel 10. No, that's nothing wrong. I'm not saying you had bad parents if you were really into The Simpsons. I'm just heavily implying it, you know? No, I'm not saying that, actually. It is a very good show. That's one thing I want to be clear. I was never trashing The Simpsons at all. Clearly a great show. It's been for, 30 seasons or something now? And it's just not for me, you know? I watched it and I smirk. Obviously, you know, there's some good gags in there. I'm like, because, yeah, Homer's stupid. Nice. And that's great. And I understand why people like it now. It's a hard thing to come in on as an adult. It really is. It's just one of those shows where if you don't connect with it on that childhood nostalgic level of, you know, your parents in the kitchen making dinner and you watching The Simpsons, you just can't come in on it and enjoy it, really. It's just like, you enjoy it for what it is. It's like, yeah, it's a pretty funny cartoon. And I think there was a few real good seasons apparently in the middle there, like early on, maybe like season whatever. Like when Conan was writing for it, apparently it was fucking great. And it's just one of those things, you know, that's it. So I was not bullshitting, Tim. I simply did other things as a child. I went outside. I was really one of those kids that was like, I left the house in the morning and my mum and dad were like, come back before it gets dark, which is like so old school. And me and my brother, we used to ride around. We used to like make cubby houses, make bike jumps in paddocks. We used to make weapons all the time, like full on out of wood. You know, like other kids had those plastic bow and arrows too. We used to fucking go out scouting for good bow. We were a very pro bow family. We used to go out scouting for these like perfect shape of wood. And then we like used to make swords as well. And I was surprised how much wooden swords lasted. Dad really probably should have put a stop to that quicker, but he never did. You know, like one day I came in just with a splinter in my arm because my brother had, like, we used to for real fight. Like sometimes when we were actually fighting, we used to be like, no, screw you. And then we used to pick up the swords and just start battling it out, full start whacking each other. And then instead of confiscating the swords, I remember one day my dad was just like, yeah, look, boys, you're going to have to be more careful with the swords. This is like such an Aussie dad thing to do. You're like, mate, there's nothing wrong with a wooden weapon, all right, with it being wielded by an 8-year-old. It's how you use it, mate. you know? So that was good. And then swords got banned. I think we got a little bit silly. And then we tried to make spears. That was shortly lived. Turns out spears are not good in a backyard when you start throwing pointed wood at each other. And then I had to defend it. I was like, no, it's a javelin. I'm doing athletics. Meanwhile, I'm fucking having pot shots at my brother Jack, over the lawn. So that's hard to defend that when you're blatantly aiming at another human being. And then I think we tried to make crossbows for a bit. These things that would but they weren't as good. The bow and arrows were the most fun. And they lasted. And then they lasted for a bit because we were using those plastic arrows with the suction cap at the end. But then we started to realize we could get more trajectory and more distance and power out of a wooden arrow. So then we started crafting our own arrows. And that's pretty much when we stopped and someone went to the hospital probably. No, we never got that injured, I don't think. So yeah, that's what I did instead of watching The Simpsons. I'm weird, man. This is why I think I'm unrelatable. I think it was mainly just my childhood probably. But it's because of that I don't like some shit now. I've just kept that going. I've kept that energy going in my life. Like I never used to have a gaming console. That's the only thing I've changed later in life. When I was growing up, we never had a gaming console in our house. So I only ever used to play like computer games really. And I wasn't even that into it, to be honest. I never wanted one. I don't think I ever asked my parents for one, which is just like definitely weird. Like everyone was like, oh, fucking PlayStation 2 and like Nintendo 64. And I'm just out here like, how good are dirt jumps and stacking on your bike? That's sick, eh? And I was not like, I didn't live in the country. You know what I mean? Like we lived in suburbs. All my friends had that shit. And I was just out here, in the economical hub of Diamond City. It's almost the capital of Australia at this point. Such a thriving industry there. So yeah, that's like explains why I've never seen a bunch of shit. Like all my friends think it's fascinating that I've never seen an episode of Dragon Ball Z. All I know is that there's a character called Goku, and occasionally they're like fucking and they're like just going Super Saiyan, and then their hair changes color, and then it's like a bunch of anime colors, and I'm like, whoa, this looks complicated. And yeah, and I didn't even play Pokemon until I was in year 9. I'm definitely weird. That's why I was saying I was unrelatable. And I feel like I'm also fussy about food. Going back to the coffee thing. Will not have a coffee. I only have hot chocolates. Do you know how embarrassing it is as a full-grown man to be going out for business meetings all the time? Like I'm meeting up with, back in the day, I used to be meeting with managers and people from the radio station and some of the biggest bosses of like Southern Cross Stereo and all these big companies. And like, all right, we'll go out and grab a coffee and we'll talk about it there. And they go, so what are you going to have? And they're like, oh, just a cappuccino, thanks, or whatever they order. And like, and for you? And I'm like, just a hot chocolate. And they go, sorry, what? Because they see me, that they assume that I have a cock and balls. So they're like, all right, well, he's not 8 and he has a penis. Why is he ordering this? And I go, just a hot chocolate. And could you put in a marshmallow? And they go, yeah, that's fine. And then they just come back and very sexist of the waiters sometimes that they are. If I'm sitting with like, say like a boss of mine who was a female, they would put the hot chocolate on their thing and I'd be like, oh no, it's the other way around. I don't think that coffee is particularly manly. It's just like most humans do it. But yet some reason you're a fucking beta if you order a hot chocolate. Why? Why is that beta? I mean, it's chocolate and milk. I understand why it's beta. You're pretty much having it's a children's drink. That's why it's beta actually. Whatever. I don't need you. What? I think I'm going insane. Sometimes I just don't say words correctly in isolation. We will wrap this up soon. Before we do that, it is time for the ultimate pub song championships. That is right. We are almost at the end of the longest running competition of all time. I can't think of a thing that's run for longer than this. This is almost run as long as the fucking Simpsons has. God damn. This is like the home and away of tournaments. It's just, when will it end, But ladies and gentlemen, there is an answer to that question. There is light at the end of the tunnel. We have reached the grand final. It's kind of fitting. Next week on episode 150, we will be announcing the winner and finally get down to the bottom of it, of what is truly the ultimate pump-up song. It's been a great journey, and I'll wrap it up quickly here. If you haven't been around for the journey, I think it started when I came in this podcast just as a little tidbit and said it was more just information. It was a public service announcement, a bit of common courtesy. I just went on this podcast and I was like, oh, by the way, Fat Bottom Girls by Queen is without a doubt, no arguments, no questions asked, the ultimate pump-up song of all time. And 40% of people thoroughly agreed with me, for sure. And then 60% of people were like, whoa, have you heard of this? What about this? Immigrant Song, The Final Countdown, Kanye West, Joker and the Thief. And all of a sudden, all these other just pump up bangers just started coming into the mix. And I went, you know what? This calls for a championship. So I made the whiteboard, which I wrote probably 6 months ago. I think Meg wrote it, actually. It's not my handwriting. And we narrowed it down to 16 of widely agreed ultimate pump-up songs. I went through BuzzFeed lists. I went through every online forum that discussed high-energy workout songs, best songs to get crunk to, and I just got all the ones that kept coming up. And we ended up, the top 16 shortlist was Sandstorm by Darude, Thunderstruck, AC/DC, Eye of the Tiger, Joker and the Thief, Holding Out for a Hero from Shrek 2, Turn Down for What, Lose Yourself, Eminem, The Final Countdown, Hall of Fame by The Script, Pokemon theme song, bit of an outsider, but actually made it through to the second round. Rocky theme, Fat Bottom Girls, obviously, You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi, Immigrant Song, Stronger by Kanye, and All I Do Is Win. And boy, oh boy, it's been a bloody roller coaster ride of emotions. And throughout all this, Fat Bottom Girls just keeps making it through. So the two songs that we have in the grand final this week that have made it to the very end is Holding Out for a Hero, Shrek 2, which I'm shocked about. I really thought it was going to be Lose Yourself versus Fat Bottom Girls at the end. And of course, Fat Bottom Girls has made it through. No one's shocked about that, obviously. Probably a fucking shoo-in. But no, that's the thing. I will talk about this. So the journey to get here, Holding Out for a Hero beat Lil Jon. Fair enough. I agree with that. And by the way, we vote on YouTube and Instagram, and it used to be on Facebook, but my Facebook group's just not letting me post in there now. It's fucked. So, and also no one's on Facebook anymore. So now your mum can't vote, which is a bummer. So yeah, we just total all the votes now off the YouTube and Instagram polls. And usually those polls get almost exactly the same amount of votes, so it kind of works well. And by the way, that's the thing. It's completely out of my control. I haven't rigged this at all, okay? Except if you don't vote for Fat Bottom Girls, I'm going to come find you. But other than that, I'm not biased. Then Holding Out for a Hero beat Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Oh, no, sorry. Then it beat Lose Yourself. That was a hectic matchup. I couldn't believe that one. It beat what I considered the favorite. And then Holding Out for a Hero beat Thunderstruck, and now it is through to the grand final. Fat Bottom Girls started off with a tough one. It beat the Rocky theme song. Then it beat the Pokemon theme song. Then it beat Bon Jovi, You Give Love a Bad Name, and now it is through to the grand final. So here's how it's going to go down. Voting is normal. Vote for your favorite pump-up song. May the ultimate pump-up win. Every vote counts. Last week, Fat Bottom Girls only beat You Give Love a Bad Name by something like 60 votes or 70 votes or something like that. It came down to the wire. So definitely don't fuck around and waste your vote, okay? It was like 1,090 votes to Fat Bottom Girls over the two polls, to 1,017 votes to Bon Jovi. And this week will be polled exactly the same. So, yeah, may the best pump-up song win. And look, I guess here's how it's going to go down. Hang on, the camera's about to stop. I just got to restart it. All right, so here's how I think it's going to go down. If I'm being truly honest with myself, I think it will be really close. I'm by no means saying Fat Bottom Girls will crush this competition till the end. Holding Out for a Hero in Shrek 2 is proving to be a juggernaut in this competition against all odds. Kind of on paper, not really the pump up song, but I think because this song is voted online by the masses and not necessarily just fans of this podcast, Holding Out for a Hero is showing I think its association with Shrek is showing to be a real weapon. That's why it's such a big track in this competition, because obviously great scene, unforgettable scene. Human Shrek on horse donkey. Wow. Backed by Jennifer Saunders' version of Holding Out for a Hero. It's powerful stuff, and I'm not going to sit here and fucking deny that Fat Bottom Girls has some competition this week. Whenever I hear that song, it makes me feel something, okay? It makes look, you know that kind of feeling you get on a roller coaster when, like, it's just like the bottom of your gut, and it's not butterflies, it's that, like, ooh, feeling. That's what you get when you watch Gingy go, Gingy, and you're like, no, but then Shrek fucking slays some medieval knights. So good. Was it Radio Mike? Who knows? They look similar. Not Shrek. Sorry, Radio Mike looks like human Shrek, not actual Shrek. That would be mean. He doesn't look like an Oba. He looks like the happily ever after version of Shrek. I'm just gonna get the two songs up just so you guys are ready to vote, because I don't think we should just take this lightly this week. It's not on Spotify anymore. For some reason they took Holding Out for a Hero off Spotify. So this is the where have all the good men gone? Fuck, I'm a gift, aren't I? I'm a real fucking prezi. God damn, I should be under your Christmas tree this year. I'm a talent. Right, bit of a slow start, but then this bit is where you're thinking, Luke, how is this a pump-up song? Oh, yeah? Think again. Oh! All of a sudden, you're like, oh, my God. Maybe we're taking over Far, Far Away as well. He's gotta be strong. Ooh, I don't want to play too much because I get demonetized, but woo! There's that feeling again. My PP is rushing with blood right now. That's the only way to describe it. It's just a throbbing, not a hard on, just like a great fucking feeling, you know? Just like if you could have an erection being completely soft, that is how this song makes me feel. It doesn't arouse me. It just gets the people fucking going. So that's the thing. I cannot deny my love and appreciation for this song. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, it is up against yet another weapon in this competition. My baby. The reason why this competition started. It is, in my opinion, one of the best songs of all time. And also one of the songs that gets you fucking going. There's no denying it. It's a big hitter. Once again, not really a song that starts to pump up. You're thinking, I can't work out to this. Yeah, man. Wait till those drums kick in. Let it all hang out, fat bottom girls. You make the rockin' world go round. I'm as good as Freddie Mercury. Oh, deny that, huh? Deny that's not a fucking hitter. Man, I knew that before I agree. All right, I'll just go to the... You ready? That fucking tempo, dude, is just, you know where my vote's going this week. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, vote with your heart. That's the end of the podcast. May the best pump up song win, and the results will be revealed on next week's podcast. Not on social media this week. It is going to be on next week's podcast. So, make sure you don't miss the voting. It'll be during the week. It'll probably over the weekend I'll do it. So, keep an eye out for that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you enjoy it, I'd love it if you show it a friend. Make sure you bloody subscribe. Leave a rating on whatever podcast service you're using. That really helps. And if you're still watching it on YouTube, leave a bloody comment. You know, just give me some fucking engagement. That's what I'm asking for. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you guys next week. Woo! I'm pumped. I'm going to listen to that song again.